Hello everybody, this is JD. I have gotten requests of people asking me how will I deal with problems. Deal with graft and corruption in our government. How will I deal with issues of globalization? How will I deal with the evil corruption that the world has institutionalized into our own nation? How will I deal with the Federal Reserve Bank agenda? How will I deal with the United Nations? How will I deal with the debt of China? How will I deal with the military threats? How will I deal with this? How will I deal with the illegal executive orders given by presidents? How will I restore integrity to both Congress houses? What will I do about lobbying special interest groups that infest our federal government? How will I deal with a balanced budget? How will I deal with the debt? And a lot of that very same thing. At the same time, I got this to ask you. How will I deal with the peaking of oil production during my term? How will I deal with food shortages throughout the world? How will I deal with drinking water shortages? These are other things you haven't even thought about, haven't even touched the surface of. How will I deal with terrorism? How will I deal with the advances of technology? How will I deal with global manufacturing in the United States not manufacturing? How will I deal with trying to develop alternative forms of energy that is as lucratively available, is as convenient, as transferable, and as universal, changing from oil to another form of fuel that will carry the same yet completely replace oil or fossil fuels at the same time, allowing fossil oil to be used for development in other areas like medicine, building materials, advanced technology. How will I deal with those things you haven't even thought about out there? How will I deal with a nation that refuses to participate? Who says that they don't vote because of this, they don't vote because of that, they don't vote. For you are out there who believe in Christ, understand what was meant by render unto Caesar what is Caesar's and render unto God what is God. Voting is rendering unto Caesar. How do you expect me to know what you want if you don't vote? How do you expect for me to even get there? Understand the corruption that you claim that's in the voting process can be completely eliminated by the magnitude of voters. By you flooding the voting with your votes. Makes the job of trying to rig the election astronomically illegal and almost impossible. See, there's a lot more problems than just those small surface ones, which must be approached and handled. A lot more. The people in my cabinet aren't going to be there for the glory of being in my cabinet. They're going to be there to ensure that the United States of America exists for another 200 years. My cabinet is going to be made up of people who are there today, who understand the history of our nation and the world, and is doing their darndest to ensure that our country and our government is there tomorrow. There's a lot more to be done. Some of the things you request can be done relatively easy. Some of the things are going to take time. Ensuring that you have enough food, ensuring a fair and equitable tax system, and some way to get this humongous debt that's been thrust upon us. That must be handled and not passed down to future generations, while at the same time ensuring that our government keeps its word to the people and don't break it like it has done so many times before. And forcing our Congress to do what is right and doing the correct things instead of taking the easy path. There's so much that needs to be done, and none of it's going to be easy. The type of people that you will see in my cabinet is not the type of people you see today. The type of people that are going to be in my cabinet are people that are visionaries. People who believe in you. And people who know there's a different way to do things. You're not going to see change, you're going to see difference. A vast difference. But unless you all stop crying, sitting on the sidelines, complaining about the problems, there's nothing I can do. Unless you all start taking on the responsibility and vote and go out there, tell people of me, help me set up the Constitutionalist Party headquarters in each and every state. Unless you all realize it doesn't rest in my hand. It rests in yours. I have said over and over again, when God closes one door, He opens up several doors. But we must walk through. Choose the door and walk through. And with the grace of God, we will choose the right door. But we must walk through. Unless we take the initiative, unless we get up, and unless we do what needs to be done, there will be no assistance. But when we walk through that door, everything will be handled, and will be handled properly. We could bring God's kingdom to this earth within the United States borders. And for those who don't believe in God, yes, you are welcome to. After all, we're a Christian nation. All are welcome. We shall turn no one away. And so is the Constitutionalist Party. We are a Christian party, therefore all, even the non-believers, are more than welcome. It's just we ask that yes, you openly, freely discuss how you feel and believe without fear of being condemned or retribution, but also allow us the same freedoms so we can freely discuss without condemnation from others. So I look at you all out there, and I hear you all say these things, and ask the same questions over and over again that politicians have promised to handle time and time again. And all I'll say to you is all things will be taken care of in due course and time. I cannot tell you how things will play out. I cannot tell you what will be involved. There's a lot more to the future than just the corruption in Congress. And every one of you have control over that. But you want somebody else to do it because you sit and you don't vote and you say, well, it does no good. And you keep putting the same people in and out, in and out, in and out. And you wonder why there's corruption there. How long will someone be honest when they're being told, you can't be touched by the law while you're here? You can't be touched by the law when you're a congressman. You can't, senator or House representative. Sooner or later, you're going to try to see if that's true. And when you break the law and they can't do nothing, what happens then? You become further and further. And the people keep re-electing you over and over again. Many of these problems we have are real, but they're self-inflicted. And that I will point out to you. I will point the truth out. Many of you may not want to hear it. Just like I tell every single one of you who do not vote, by you not voting, you give full approval of everything our government does. You approve of everything. So you don't have to vote. You don't need to vote. You totally approve of the way our government is working throughout the world. You totally approve of the corruption in Congress, both the House and the Senate. You totally approve of the warring machines that we go around developing. You approve of all that. Every single one of you who don't vote. You give your own personal approval to our government. You can deny it all you want, but that's the truth. The only time people get serious about voting is when they disapprove about what's going on. Think about that. The Tea Party don't exist because the people in this country approve. Those people in a quote-unquote Tea Party totally disapprove of what's going on. Most Americans are just like you, the ones who don't vote. As long as the government's not bothering them, they don't care. They approve of whatever they're doing. It's when they disapprove. So every time you people who claim to be a protester who's protesting against the system, all you're doing is telling the system it's okay to do whatever you're doing because I approve on it. I'm not going to vote because you're doing what you're going to do and it's okay. I'll just turn my back and pretend that because I didn't vote, I'm not part of it. Even though, yes, I am the main part of what gives you permission, the federal government, to do the stuff you're doing. You all sit on the side complaining. I'm telling you, it's time we all band together, check out the Constitutionalist Party, and tell the government we don't approve. And it's going to start doing things differently. I'm not going to tell you which one I'm going to do first, which one I'm going to do second. There's no way. Because, like I said, I do not know how it's going to play out. I do know we're going to take a different path. There's going to be a shakeup in D.C. like they had never seen before. This is JD. Sit at home, don't vote, or vote your party lines. But know that you who don't vote approve more about what's going on in our country and our government than anybody else. Thank you. Have a nice day. This is JD.